Hello, everybody. And we are unfrozen now.
There
Elon
you go.
is
Yeah.
letting me down.
The girls are
Um,
live television.
yeah. Here with Mike Price. He is a fellow EXP realtor of mine that I have had the pleasure of meeting with. Is from Atlanta, Georgia. So I had Facebook going off there. And I'm super excited to just learn a little bit more about you, Mike, and your story. And, just tell us how you got into real estate. And we'll chat about that a little bit.
Well, hey, Michelle, it's good to see you again. Thanks for having me on your program. I appreciate it.
That's awesome. So, what got you into the real estate industry? Did you start your career in real estate, or did it kind of unveil after having a career previously?
Yeah, I've been in it. I've been licensed for a long time. I've been licensed for since 1998, but I didn't really get serious until 2011. And I was in the hospitality industry. I worked in restaurants, bartender, and I met everybody. And I had all kinds of different job offers. And I met a lady one day who said, "You need to get your real estate license." And I said, "Well, what do I do?" She goes, "You get your license, and when you just come to me, and I got you a job." So she recruited me to her brokerage, and that was in 1998. I did okay, but I didn't really do well with real estate. I have, part of my story is I'll be 15 years sober this August, and my life changed for the better, obviously, once I stopped drinking. And it was in August of '08, and it took me about a year to get my feet under me. And I decided at that point I was sober. I was 38, and I didn't really have a path laid out. And so I got back into, I started putting my focus in real estate. And one of my good friends, who's still a really good friend to this day, was a team leader at Keller Williams, and he recruited me to Keller Williams. I started with Keller Baker in '98, and then I went to Remax. And I just kind of basically had my license hung. I didn't do anything. And then I went to Solid Source, which is very small. It's not even there anymore. Somebody else bought them, but it's a very low budget model when the market crashed to keep my license active. And then I moved to Keller Williams in 2011. My buddy was a team leader. He brought me in, and it kind of took off from there. I mean, I was there 10 years, just maybe about 10 years, 10 caps. And I went from nothing to, $40 million guy in, 10 years. And it was a phenomenal run. But I couldn't have done it if I didn't, get sober and get around the right folks. And so I basically, and I was talking to my team this morning, I showed them all my numbers from 2011. I said, guys, I'm just like you. I mean, the only thing I did was lead generate consistently. But yeah, that's when it really took off. And I was with, Keller Williams for 10 years. It was a great run. It was very educational. I was in lots of different groups. I paid for coaching. I flew all over the country to events, and it was good. I mean, it was a great experience. But then in 2020, moved my license over to EXP, and that was a game changer. I wish I'd have done it sooner.
Yeah,
Um,
that's my only regret too.
Yeah, like everybody, it's funny. I hope my friends are watching this that aren't with EXP. Nobody wants to look at the model, right? They don't. They have a notion of what it is, and they won't look at it. And it frustrates me, but I was one of them. I did the same thing. And my buddy who brought me in, I mean, I know him, trust him. We're friends, and I still didn't look at it. I was like, I'm good. I'm making money. I'm okay. But yeah, I moved over in October of 2020. After about 9 months of not doing anything with, I mean, I should have moved over. I mean, I missed out on 6 figures in stock
Yeah.
waiting. But yeah, I moved over in 2020, just me and one other agent and an assistant. And I, kind of gutted the whole team and we moved over. I started over again. I started over at 40 million. And we have just been rocking it ever since. I mean, it's been incredible. I'm getting to meet folks like yourself and I'm loving it.
Oh, we're back.
We're back.
Oh, Elon. So what was the introductory factor from EXP? Like how did that conspire? Did you seek it out yourself? Did somebody else introduce you to EXP? How did that come together?
So I had a buddy that I knew that we referred a lot of business back and forth on the other side of town, and he was telling me about it, but his approach was not right. It was he was like puking the rev share on me in the stock, and I was doing profit share at Keller Williams. What I didn't know is like how much rev share is better, but it was plus it was. I knew that I knew that I wanted to align myself with people that were going, that had the vision. He was a good guy. I mean, I love him. We're friends, but I just didn't see the alignment there. So a good friend of mine, Stacy Wyatt, he and I had been side by side, running our businesses, basically almost the same units and volume, at Keller Williams for 10 years, the same office, like just a couple of doors down from each other. He was a team leader at Keller Williams. He and I moved to another office at Keller Williams, and he was the team leader. And he asked me, he started getting all this information from corporate about, objection handlers for different brokerages as a team leader. And he said, hey man, have you heard about EXP? I said, yeah, I've heard somebody tell me about it, but he goes, y'all look at it, man. I'm going to dig into this thing. I think it's got legs. I go, okay. Well, he's super analytical engineer. And I said, you go ahead and let me know how it goes.
You tell me how you make it.
I'm high D. I'm like, you just give me the highlights. And so he came back to me in about a month later, and we had been talking, but he didn't bring it up, and I figured he moved on. And he called me one day. He goes, hey man, I'm leaving Keller Williams. I go, what? What? And he had a team like mine. We were, roughly at the time we were probably almost 30 million. And I was like, well, have you lost your mind? What are you talking about? And he said, man, you've got to really look at this thing. And he tried to talk me into coming, and I didn't. I still wouldn't look at it, still dug my heels in. And I don't know why. I'm honestly, I don't know why. I'm like, I don't know why I did it. So anyway, I said, no. I said, look, you go do it. You go do your thing, man. And I'm going to watch it in 6 months. If you're still rocking it, I'm in. And so he kept sending me some information here and there. Not much. We still were communicating. I was still calling him. We collaborated a lot. But I started seeing all his social media, like the posts, like the business was going up. And I'd call him, y'all closed how many last month? What are y'all doing over there? And he's like, man, I'm telling you, you need to come over here and check this out. You're missing it. And so finally one day he called me up. He goes, listen, I'm just going to call. I'm going to pull the friend card, get over to my office. Just come over here and just listen. Give me an hour. Okay. So I drove to his office, which is 3 miles from my office, the whole time. I drove over there and he laid it all out, the whole thing. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was absolutely like, that can't be right. Like, it can't be true. The stock, there's revenue share, the collapse. I don't have to pay for coach anymore. Like I could get all of the information from all these big producers. And he had, to his credit, he had seeked out Dan Beer and Kyle Whistle.
Okay.
Those are our sponsors, and so
okay, they're excellent. I've heard them speak a lot, and they're amazing.
Yeah, he went and found those guys, which was like boom, boom, and so they'll do $1 billion production between the two of them. So I'm like, I'm hitched to these guys. So I still didn't believe it. I said, I'm gonna call Dan Beer. So I give me his number. So he gave me Dan's number. Called Dan, and Dan said, I said, hey, I'm thinking about going. He goes, look, Mike, here's the deal. You're going to have the same problems tomorrow that you had today. Everything's the same. You're going to have a different sign, different logo, but everything's the same. You got to hire people, fire people. You got to do lead generation. You got to find talent, all that. He goes, the difference is now I have a fiduciary responsibility to help you grow your business.
Right.
And my playbook is now your playbook, and there's no hiding anything. And Dan was a big KW guy too. He was on the verge of buying market centers before he came over here. And he said, you don't have to have any overhead to do this. He goes, I'm going to show you. And so he basically said, anything you need. And I was there. And so I went over, I joined that, and I did the application that night.
Nice.
As they say, is history.
Yeah. And you just wish that you would have at least been open-minded to listen before you actually did.
Well, the thing, Michelle, that really makes me mad about myself, and I was, and I understand, like a lot of the people I talk to, they're going through the same thing. They're making good money. They're right. Nothing's broken. It's like,
Yeah.
no, there's no pain. And
Yeah.
I was making good money. I make better money now, but I was making good money, and I just didn't, I wasn't looking at it. And had I taken a minute to like look at the stock and understand it and why you get it and how you get it and what it does and how it grows and what it can do for you in 10 years, I would have definitely moved over sooner.
The ownership part for me was a big thing, because even though it's, it's nothing extravagant, but being part owner of the company makes you, take it more seriously and have more pride and, everything else. So, and with Exit Realty, with who I was with prior to, like, there was no option, no chance of ownership. Like,
Yeah, I think you froze again, but the ownership was a big piece once I understood it, and once I understood what it meant, you know, because at Keller Williams there really was no option at that point in time, because I was a mega agent. I had a mega agent office, so I went out to Austin, Texas, and did the 3-day FSO, and like if you're opening a market center, and it was great. I mean, but I was talking to a bunch of the OPs while they were out there, and they were like, "Hey, man, you're not buying a market center unless you know somebody that's selling one and you are in the click and all that." And that's true.
yeah,
Yeah, and I've got a friend that just opened one in Atlanta. So I mean, and she's super. She's really connected, and they're going to do great. But there wasn't that opportunity, and it was a huge financial risk to do it
yeah.
anyway. But yeah, it was the ownership and having and being the ones that like I feel like when I'm talking to agents and inviting them to come over and show them the model, I'm helping grow the company. I mean we're helping build this company. It's like kind of like when you're I tell the neighbors when I'm coming to open house and not knock on doors and, hey, I'm coming to open house, come pick your neighbor. I mean, go pick you have the option to pick your neighbor to come move here.
Yeah.
Like you get to pick your neighbors here all day long, and there's a financial reward for doing that because the company's built on productive agents, right? So
Right.
it's just an incredible setup all the way around.
Yeah, and our stock has increased significantly in the last little bit, so that's exciting.
Well, you're right. The hitting the S&P 600, which goes live 4 days. Just saying we're going to hit the S&P 600, it went up. And like I said, I wish I'd have done it sooner and had more stock. But the fact that that's being in the cream of the crop in small cap companies in the whole nation is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And just legitimizes what we're doing here. I mean, it's just this isn't
a small game. This is the big game.
We're the only real estate company on that S&P 600. I mean, and they go by income and cash flow and growth and all that. So it's legit. And I think a lot more people will be seeing it over the next 2 or 3 years, that when they take a look at it. But yeah, it's incredible. It's an incredible time to be at this company.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. What would you, so you run a team, is that correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So how many agents do you have on your team?
We currently have 5 agents and onboarding another one this next week. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, Elon.
There you go. You bet.
Yeah. So, and how do you like the team structure? Because a lot of people, like for myself, I kind of want to do a team, but at the same time, I want to stay solo and then just really help and mentor the agents in my organization. So maybe talk a little bit about your mentality on the team side of things, because I'm personally interested in knowing, the team aspect of it.
The team, Well, I'm the kind of guy I like really enjoy doing things like going places with people. Like, you can do it all by yourself all day long, but I like to be around folks, and it makes me feel
Oh yeah.
good that I can help others make a living. But the reality is, when I was at Keller Williams, I mean, the reason I started a team because I was doing a lot of lead generation. I had more business than I could personally keep up with.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I just met my wife, and I didn't want to. I want to date her and not be working 90 hours a week. So I started hiring people to work with me, and it's been and it's a never ending thing, right? You're always trying to find talent, but the having a team is great because it's a lot more work than being a solo agent because you have way more responsibility.
For sure.
But you can actually go out of town, and you can actually do things that you couldn't do as a solo agent. And now our culture on the team is lead generation, and so we've got an ISA, but we're pushing the agents to do lead generation themselves, so they can do an extra deal or two a month. And I think that having a team it's a learning curve for anybody because you're getting into business with people, and you got to understand they're not going to be like you in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, they're going to be better.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of then that's who you want, and a lot of won't. And they've got to have the same drive and the same just wanting that to go out there and get it
Yeah.
and make it happen that you do. Otherwise, it really won't align. But yeah, having a team's great. I mean, I really enjoy being able to help so many people.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I'm like super like interested in is watching people grow, and I kind of do that without the team aspect already. But yeah, no, I don't know if I will in the near future go that route or stay this route. I'm not sure. But so when you talk about lead gen, what is your most successful lead generating either system or tool, or how do you create and generate leads?
Well, the majority of all of our business comes from our past clients, our database, our sphere of influence, or we call it PCSOI, past client sphere of influence. Um, but we grew that from organically from the people I knew. And it's funny because I was just going through a 10-year spread of spreadsheets with my accountability group and my team this morning. And I was showing them I did 10 deals this year. And I did, 15 the next year and then 20. And it was database. Then we started buying internet leads and Zillow, and we started doing that. But we've always turned all those people into happy past clients, most of them anyway. And we still have internet sources, HomeLight, UpNest, My Agent Finder, but the majority of our business still comes from our sphere. It comes from
Yeah.
our database and our friends and family. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the same. Like, as long as you treat your clients well and your intentions are good, I think people really will always be loyal and stick with you
Yeah.
throughout that. Now, I'll ask you this because this is the hot topic: is your thoughts on AI and how that's impacting our industry?
It's coming whether we like it or not.
Yeah, it's here. It's not
It's
coming. It's here.
happening. Yeah, it's here. It's kind of like Zillow in the past, when we were all buying Zillow leads, and I know a lot of people that are on the Flex program. You're feeding the beast. You're feeding the one that's trying to put us out of business.
Yeah.
But you're making a lot of money while you're doing it. And AI, I think, is going to be not. I think I know. It's going to be a game changer for a lot of areas in our business. Fortunately, it's going to take some jobs away. I think. That some repetitive things and just some overall. But I think it's great. I think there's a lot of things you can do with it that are helpful. And I know that much about it right now. I mean, we're just now
Scratching
getting
the
it.
surface.
Yeah, we use it for some of our posts. We have AI create a bunch of stuff for us. It's kind of scary that if you look at all those old movies, like I, Robot and Will Smith, and different movies where AI kind of took over
Yeah.
machine learning, and how smart does it get? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that's a scary thing too, for
Yeah,
sure.
but I think it is a good. I think it is. There's a lot of ways to really use it to be effective.
Yeah, I do feel as though that if you don't keep up with the times and you don't dive into what is taking over, I think you will kind of be left behind in a sense. I do think that if you don't take the time to learn it and understand it, I think you will have a competitive advantage if you're trained and you know how to utilize the tools. Because I think the consumer, the buyer, the seller, if they feel that they can be at an advantage because you are able to utilize the tools, I think that will be key to gaining more business as well, especially with the younger generation, I think.
Well, yeah, and it's well, and with anybody in real estate, like there's all kinds of systems and you know platforms out there where you can use AI to totally automate things for you. You can touch your home bot. Oh my gosh, that's our number one engagement with our clients. But having AI work for you to help you reach more people and to nurture the folks you have and stay in touch, I think that's incredible. I mean, we're looking into all several different things like that right now. But if you don't take advantage of it, it's right here. You might as well. Everybody's going to do it, and it's not. You'll be the only one that won't be doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll be the one left behind.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll wrap it up in the sense of where do you see yourself going? What are your goals and aspirations? Because maybe we meet here again in another year and we'll be able to see the progression of what you're working towards. It would be awesome to take a look back and then look at where you are now and go, wow, holy crap.
Well, I think that there's you and I've been on a lot of calls together. That's how we met. The future for me personally in 5 years is I want to be out of the sales, the production side, but the team be thriving even bigger than it is now with me. And that's probably what me getting out of it probably helped. But to be giving opportunities to other folks, using the team as a platform to bring people in. And one of the things that I think we'd be missing if we didn't bring it up, EXP, like Keller Williams, pays us handsomely for bringing people into the company, introducing people, and a lot of people call it recruiting. You call it what you want. Everybody recruits, but it's attracting people, or showing them an opportunity. Some take it, some don't. Some like it, some won't. And EXP allows you to build a large organization underneath you that without a lot of almost zero overhead, pretty much no overhead. And I've got a team of 5 producing agents. We're about to be 6 maybe. And I've got a team under me, my modern agent team, we call it here in Atlanta, our modern agent team, of 50 people who are closing deals. And I'm here to help them as well. We're all on a Slack channel together. We have a Facebook group together. We're like a mini brokerage. And because of that, I can see myself having, in 5 years, having an organization that's, around 1,000 people or more that are, I don't have to sell houses anymore. I can do other things with my time, like spend more time on how to build my team and give more opportunities to the people on the team. So there's a huge opportunity there for anybody that wants to, take advantage of it. I mean, because otherwise you're selling real estate till you're old and gray. And then as soon as you stop, the income stops,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's definitely how I see it, being in my 30s now. And I'm thinking to myself, like, it would be nice to have the dream of, retiring at 55. Like, it feels like a pipe dream, but you know what? It's very, very possible with this platform and this model. So I'm excited to take advantage of that.
I mean, my stock I don't think we can show numbers for, compliance, but like in 2.5 years, like I have a stock portfolio with this company that just hit over $100,000. Like back in the day with the other brokers, I was getting a bunch of little hey, he go, great job, top producer in the office. And that was nice. And the recognition was nice, but this is real money that you can pay for your kids' college with. You can buy that forever lake home. You can, or whatever, pay off your house. There's all kinds of things you do with it. So the path is now there. I didn't see it before. Now I can see it. I'm a little older than you. I'm gonna be 55 in a year and a half. So hopefully I'll be done then, but maybe not. But I can definitely see a path to getting there. And so, yeah, it's an incredible opportunity for anybody that wants to take advantage of it.
Moving Elon.
You go shake the internet a little bit.
You were saying something about numbers, sorry. And I don't know if it got it or not.
Well, yeah, I was saying, with the modern agent team, with the ability to grow an organization underneath you for bringing people into the company and getting paid revenue share, number one, there's almost zero overhead for that, right? I mean, I can't talk about the numbers, but I've made more money in revenue share this year than I did in 7 months. I mean, this month than I did in 6 months of both my rental properties. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I've got, almost a couple $100,000 in those. And so, I mean, in the stock is, you used to get the plaques, hey, good job, top 1%, you're doing a good job. And those are great. And it was nice to get those and the attaboys. But I had a stock portfolio that just went over 6 figures in 2.5 years. And I mean, that's at my production level. I hit Icon, which you know what Icon is. You get all of your cap back in stock. Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
And I wasn't looking when I was not coming here and not looking. And I was like, no, I'm good here. I don't want to hear that. And can't be better. And like, damn if it isn't. And so, but yeah, there's a clear path for everyone here to do anything you want. And it's just incredible. They keep adding more great features all the time. And I can't believe that it's such and we're still growing. So,
yeah. And I think we're at 24 countries now. Is that right? Or are we in more now?
Yeah. Yeah, and there's all kinds of, there's new things they're doing now. They just made it easier to get reviews and put them on multiple platforms. And like, we've been trying to figure that out. And like, they just did it. Like, here we go. Now we got it.
I know. We definitely have the right team on our side when it comes to tech. That's for sure.
Well, I want to mention one more thing before we go. Like, at the other brokerage, I was at, like, I never met Gary. I didn't have the financial,
leverage
numbers to get in the room with him, which I think was a miss on a lot of on their part. And I know he's a genius. I mean, he's one of the smartest guys on the planet. I mean, if anybody listens, Gary Keller's, he's incredible. But like, this last convention we just had in Orlando, shareholders, like, I'm like literally walking up and meeting and having lunch with leadership, and like, Michael Valdez and, Gene Frederick, we're sitting there having lunch together. And, I mean, Glenn Sanford.
I know. Isn't that amazing? That's what I absolutely adore, the fact that he is such a grounded, down to earth. My son has met him. Like, my son came with me to EXPCon last year, and like, you being with Keller for say a decade and never meeting the owner or CEO, whatever, founder, and I'm in the company for, I don't know, February 21. So whenever however many years that's been, 2 years. And my son at 11 years old has met Glenn Sanford. Like, what an amazing opportunity. And for him to even be at an event like that, seeing billionaires speak. And I just think that's something so powerful, whether he enjoyed it or not, we'll say. I think someday in his 20s or something, he will, I think, have profound memories of going to these things and remember, whether it's remembering a little sentence or something, I'm sure it will be very valuable to him someday in his adult life.
Well, another thing this is very notable, we can't leave this out, is like, we're shareholders in the company, we're owners in the company, and they literally ask us, what can we do? Like, you guys are boots on the ground doing this. What can we do to make this better? All the time.
Yeah.
And they keep coming up with new things that are taking all of our information. Let's do this, and let's launch this, and then we're going to launch this. It's unbelievable. I mean, for those of you out there that won't look at it, hopefully one day you will. It's like
being heard, right? And even being given the opportunity to be heard and to tell and say, like, I mean, I've even had Glenn on a podcast in market and Canada, and how I'm so excited about our growth, and they're listening, which is amazing.
It's incredible. Just, I mean, everybody's rowing in the same direction, and it's you have total access to leadership, and it's just really
the momentum is pretty fierce right now, I would say.
The what?
the momentum is pretty
Oh
fierce,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, we lost a lot of agents. Well, a lot of companies did, but our agent count never really went down. It just because we're adding so many new people, it just kind of
Right.
stayed at 88, 87, 88. Now we're like
Yeah.
almost 90,000 agents. That was
Well,
that was a long one. Yeah.
Elon seems to think we've spoken and talked enough and is trying to shut us down
Must be
for
time to
today.
go.
So I really appreciate you on, Mike. It was amazing to hear your story and your input on, the real estate.
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear me, but if you can, it's phenomenal to see you again. And thanks for hosting this for me and giving me an opportunity to speak and share my
Yeah, and
story.
I
I
will.
hope it resonates with somebody and everybody knows that, there is an opportunity here if you want to look at it.
Yeah, it's not for everybody, but it's there if you do.
For anybody, just full disclosure, if you're selling houses, it's for you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, I will also be having you on to the Fail Forward with Me podcast. We'll get that date set up here
Perfect.
shortly, but appreciate your time and we'll see you again soon.
All right, my friend. See you soon. Thank you.